It's the 2017 Daytona DMAX Heavy Heats Championship, and we are back at Daytona Milton Keynes for the final round. It's a very cold day, the light is fading. Tomek Zaustovic already our champion, but we still have a race to play for. Who's going to win the final race of the season? Who may go into next season as one of the championship favourites? Let's find out. We go straight into the final.
So time to finish up the season in the Daytona DMAX Heavy Heats Championship. Lee Whitney and Rob Bennett from the front row of the grid. Tomek Zaustovic in third position alongside the other man to win a heat so far today, Tariq Almu. Whitney, Bennett and Almu, your heat winners. Zaustovic, once again, Mr. Consistency on the third position on the grid. Alex Pritchard and the leading super heavy Chris Munro on the third row. Blaise Sienko and Paul Manton are next. Vinod Hirani and Robert Pertak round out the top 10. And then comes the rest of the field, led by Mark Sturler, Gary Martin in 12th position. Darren Hughes and Richard Sturler are next. Then Ben Moody and Ian Brooks, Anthony Fletcher and Andy Sturler, David May and James Sturler. 4 Sturlers in one field. That's going to be an interesting battle in the midfield, and whoever loses is going to be the one who does the washing up on the way home, by the way. But it's going to be an interesting victory battle out in front with our 3 different heat winners, Lee Whitney, Rob Bennett and Tariq Almu, and of course the main man, Tomek Zaustovic.
Lee Whitney certainly seemed very confident when I spoke to him before the race, but that said, he's got a lot of pressure from behind with the likes of Rob Bennett, Tomek Zaustovic as well, Tariq Almu, Alex Pritchard. Some drivers out there with a point to prove, Jake, some with nothing to lose.
So basically this race is all about bragging rights, and we'll see who has them going into the winter break. How is this going to run? At the front of the field, Lee Whitney and Rob Bennett, Tomek Zaustovic and Tariq Almu. And then we've got a nice little squabble further back with Alex Pritchard, Chris Munro, Sienko, Manton, Hirani and Pertak rounding out the top 10. Get ready, hang on to something. Green flag, and we're racing at Daytona Milton Keynes once again. Good start around the outside. Rob Bennett might be able to hold on to it. He just about has a crack, but doesn't get the lead. So Bennett will stay in second position for the moment as there's a squabble into turn 1. 2 or 3 carts in the wars.
Yeah, that was right in the middle of the pack. That was down the lower order of the top 10, if not just outside it. Oh, and someone else off. Is that Tariq Almu
I think it is Tariq Almu, yes, battling away for the victory at the front, and he ends up going off on the exit of turn 4. That's a really odd place to go off.
It is, yeah, it is. Someone clearly not noticed him coming down the outside of them, but, well, who's in the lead? Is it Tomek in the lead? Lee Whitney, second place.
How has Tomek got into the lead already? That is astonishing. Well, that is a sign of the times if he is leading. Tomek Zaustovic, clearly the dominant force in this championship and wanting to bow out as the top dog.
Oh, but whatever's going on, it's very close for second place. We can say that for a fact. That is Tomek leading, and that is Lee Whitney in second, but a charging Rob Bennett up the inside. That was never going to work.
And he goes wide. Pritchard may be able to get him on the way out of the turn, but no, Bennett holds his line. Up the inside, though, that is a tough challenge there from, I think that's Blaise Sienko, is it coming through? No, apologies, no. That is Robert Pertak. So Pertak, who had to change battery before the last heat, has got himself into position.
Oh, that's a move going on, isn't it, down there for second
Now that
place.
is Manton and Almu.
Yes.
That's Paul Manton trying to hold off Tariq Almu. Vinod Hirani in there in 8th position. Gary Martin ahead of Chris Munro, who's in 10th place. Not the best of starts to this one for Chris Munro. Blaise Sienko 11th for Mark Sturler. Then it's Moody, Richard Sturler, Fletcher, Hughes, Andy and James Sturler, David May and Ian Brooks.
James currently doing the washing up then. He's down in 18th place, but out front, Tomek Zaustovic doing a good job to get away. That's kind of confidence you have as a champion, just to be able to keep out of trouble on the opening lap and not only do that, but pull yourself a lead as well, as we are just 1.5 laps into this race. Good battle going on for second, but they do need to work together here and try and catch Tomek Zaustovic, who is escaping. And oh, is this a battle for third? It is. Pritchard and Bennett side by side.
Bennett crowds Pritchard out wide. Pritchard puts his hand in the air. Come on, that was a little bit unreasonable, wasn't it? Clearly, he's absolutely fine with it. Really intense stuff. Great battle and an amazing run. So some truly sensational racing in the early stages of this one.
Yeah, still Pertak in 5th, Paul Manton 6th, Tariq Almu 7th, Chris Munro is up to 8th and is the leading super heavy driver. Vinod Hirani not too far behind in 9th place. He's also second of the super heavies. Blaise Sienko rounds out the top 10 at the moment. We're on lap number 3 now, 2 minutes and 50 into this race. and the gap between the top two, 0.8 of a second, just over that.
So how is this race going to fare with Tomek Zaustovic trying to control the pace of this race from the front?
You know what, I think he's really being reeled in on this lap by by Lee Whitney.
Yeah,
rather.
Lee Whitney, I have to say, has been really strong this evening. He's put in an incredible amount of effort. The way he dominated the second heat was truly inspiring. I mean, he literally crowded out and disappeared into another postcode by the time they came across the finish line. He was a good 12 seconds clear nearly. An amazing run earlier on. When he got a bit of space, he really used it. But Whitney is not only, well, he's not alone, is he? He's got Rob Bennett coming with him for company. Pritchard doing a good job there in fourth place as well. And then in fifth, we still have Robert Pertak, who finally is coming good. In the previous heat, he didn't even start the race. He had all sorts of difficulties.
That makes
Oh, and there's a bit of a fisticuffs going on there as there's some pushing and shoving further back.
That's and all that, isn't he, with Paul Manton?
I think it was Paul Manton who put his hand in the air.
Sienko with a bit of contact with Paul Manton at turn 2.
Yeah, it was Paul Manton who was putting his hand in the air as if to say, come on guys, what are you playing at? And Sienko's going to run right round the outside.
Pritchard going through to third place there on Rob Bennett.
Yes, indeed. Pritchard through to third and gets past Bennett. Sienko gets past Manton in the same breath. Paul Manton was not happy with the fisticuffs going on around the final turn.
I have to say, Alex Pritchard has just gone past the fastest driver on track. Rob Bennett thought, I'm going fastest here, this is going well. Oh no, in fact, Alex Pritchard's now overtaking me.
But even Tomek Zaustovic does not look impervious, does he? He's doing a good job out in the lead. But Whitney is close, very close. A lot closer than Zaustovic realises, I think.
And Rob Bennett's going to go back up the inside, returns the favour on Alex Pritchard, who, guess what, just set the fastest lap of the race last time round.
And Pritchard shuts the door back as he gets past him on the undercut out of turn 4 and manages to hold him at bay there through 5. So Pritchard hangs on to third position for the moment. Again, very close indeed in the top 4. Zaustovic, Whitney, Pritchard, Bennett.
If only these two could decide who's going to do the leading and who's going to do the pushing, because if they'd been working together, they'd been trading fastest laps, they could be first and second. But it looks like on this lap now, Pritchard has finally got a little bit of distance between himself. So we have a driver in third now with a bit of space behind them. But the two leaders we now have very, very close together, as here they come down towards turn number 9. And that's what we were talking about. 1, 2, 3, 4 drivers away and clear. Robert Pertak in a lonely 5th.
So Zaustovic, having got himself into the lead, is not going to be able to dominate this one because he's got so much pressure. But in terms of where he finishes, he's not bothered. It's a bit like the race earlier on. He'd already sewn up the championship earlier on in the Enduro and was just playing. Here, he would quite like to finish at the top step if he can, but he's got all sorts of battles now because he's got in second position Lee Whitney trying to get back through, Pritchard in third trying to get into another winning position if he can, and fourth position Rob Bennett.
Oh, that's a lunge from Alex Pritchard trying to go past Lee Whitney. Didn't quite work, and it's allowed Tomek to get a bit of space. Chris Monroe, by the way, back in 6th, has just had a new fastest lap of 1:10.5, which is 1.2 seconds quicker than the race leader. It's got worse for Pritchard on this lap as well. He's now lost third place there to Rob Bennett. So
now Alex Pritchard's season,
that's some time, isn't it, from Chris Monroe?
1:10.5. Where did that come from?
No idea. No idea. What an amazing lap.
Sweet run there. But I was just going to talk about Alex Pritchard there in the last race of the season. He's had a reasonably good season actually as Alex Pritchard. He's down to fourth position now behind Bennett, but he's still looking for that I think he's still trying to work it for that first win in the final. He's had some good opportunities over the course of the season. He's had some good runs, but what he'd really like to do is come home with a victory at the end of the meeting. He's worked very hard indeed for it, and he's getting closer to it, is Alex Pritchard. He's got that form really starting to come to him now.
Chris Monroe's just gone through to 5th, and he's repeated that lap time. Took 5th at turn 2.
Yeah,
Robert Pertak, I thought he was.
Well, he's done it.
He's done another 1:10.5.
Yeah, he did a 1:10.510 compared to a 1:10.505. That's 0.005 of a second difference in the lap times.
More importantly, he's over a second quicker than the top 4.
Maybe Chris Monroe is about to emerge in this one. We're running out of time, but he's only 2 seconds away from Pritchard.
So if he does the same thing this lap, then there we go. I think that's very easy maths.
So we could have a 5-way scrap for position here. This could be a really interesting battle.
It'll happen late if it does happen at all, but the way the top 4 are battling, it's very much possible. As here we go, this the closest I think we've been now for a couple of laps.
Where's Monroe?
Towards turn 10.
Oh, he's a little way back.
But here comes Bennett up the inside for second place.
Robs Whitney wide there. Zaustovic nearly gets crowded out by it as well. Whitney holds on to second position. Up the inside comes Pritchard for third place. Bennett's going to be crowded out, and Pritchard's going to get through into third position, is he? Bennett trying to come around the outside, forces Pritchard onto the curb. Sparks underneath the car from Bennett as he goes up and over the curb. He tried to force Pritchard to the inside curb at turn 1 in the hope that he could just drive around the outside, but Pritchard was not going to concede. Now Bennett has got through on the way to turn 4, and that's held them up. Look out, here comes Chris Munro.
1:10.6, so another consistent time. He's still a second quicker than the race leader.
Yep, Chris Munro is the fastest man out there. That's incredible.
Is that a DMAX he's driving?
I think it's a DMAX with a 3-stroke engine, never mind a 2-stroke. Anyway, down the hill is going to be an interesting one because Zaustovic, Whitney, Pritchard and Bennett still battling away for position. Bennett still hanging on there in front of Alex Pritchard. They crossed the line 8 thousandths of a second apart at the end of that last lap.
Here we go.
That's a couple of centimetres. Here we go.
Right, Chris Munro's involved in this now, I think it's fair to say.
Well, watch out for Whitney because he's right underneath Zaustovic for the lead. They are getting very close indeed. Munro is now part of the lead squabble. 6th position. Who could pick up the pieces? Robert Pertak with Tarek Almu closing in on him. But it's Whitney versus Zaustovic. That's where the real battle is now. 9.5 done. We're not far from home.
Right, in towards turn 2 they go then. Guess what? It's another new fastest lap from Chris Munro. A 1:10.3.
Here goes Whitney! Whitney for the lead! He dives at the inside of Zaustovic and he's through! Lee Whitney takes the lead.
Good move that, and Rob Bennett was trying to get involved as well, but a 1:10.3 before that move to happen is what I was going to say there from Chris Munro. And look at the top 4 into turn 6. It's extremely close now as we get into the final couple of laps up towards turn 7. And that's an attempted move by Rob Bennett for second. And Tomek almost off the track there.
Bennett takes second position. This is amazing stuff. And so the 4 of them tighten up. Munro's done another new fastest lap to catch them. 1:10.3. This is now a 5-way scrap for the victory in the last race of the season. And at the end of this one, they're going to go into the last lap, surely.
Here we go then for another time down towards. And Lee.
What
Whitney.
a wobble from Whitney! Goodness me!
That was a good save. And Bennett.
Bennett dives to the inside, rubs Whitney wide, and Bennett takes the lead. Whitney's going to try and get it back. Whitney shakes his fist at Rob Bennett. What do you think you're playing at? Now he's going to get it back on the inside.
Here we go into turn 1. Whitney's got to be careful. Almost found himself.
Here comes Zaustovic!
And that's
the
contact.
inside of Whitney, they bang wheels, and Whitney's going to have to get back into second position. Munro's in amongst it. Munro's going to dive for the inside. Oh my goodness!
Who's going to come out in third place?
I'm not sure. Pritchard's alongside Zaustovic. Munro trying to come around the outside of both of them. Switches to the inside. Pritchard's third, Zaustovic fourth, Munro fifth.
How did they stay in the same order?
I do not know, but Bennett is now going to lead it. Rob Bennett is on the road to victory here.
But look at Munro.
Munro dives past both of them.
What a move that was. Chris Munro from 5th to 3rd in
and
one
he's
corner.
held it. He's held it on the exit.
Actually managed to, yeah.
Chris Munro is in 3rd position. Zaustovic 4th, Pritchard 5th. I did not expect Munro to throw that out the inside at 7.
No idea, but I think we could have just a matter of corners to go now. Rob Bennett looks like he's going to take the win here. Lee Whitney 2nd, and it is Munro in 3rd place. Tomek's actually
Zaustovic going backwards. Zaustovic is going to lose the place. He's down to 6th position behind the 5th place man, Robert Pertak. But it's Bennett who takes the last lap board. I thought it was going to be the victory. We just have enough time for one more lap.
Chris Munro's going to be devastated. He would have been hoping to see a checkered flag there. Let's not forget with the pace he had, he could have probably won this race. And here comes Pritchard. Pritchard back up the inside at turn 4, retakes 3rd place.
Well, Munro's quick on the exit. It's not done yet. Munro to the inside line is going to force Pritchard wide. I'll hold on to 3rd place, Alex. Thank you.
Tomek Zaustovic, as you said, you did mention earlier in the race, Robert Pertak could pick up the pieces. He has done. And a little instant coming into the penultimate corner there, but this is the last lap, and it's Chris Munro versus Alex Pritchard. They're side by side going down towards turn 8.
This is going to be a tight one. Who is going to win this one? Rob Bennett or Lee Whitney? Very close indeed. Less than a second between them on the line. They're going to come up and over the crest. Bennett versus Whitney battling for the victory. Here we go. Bennett is in 1st position. Whitney has dropped back into 2nd place, so it's going to be them.
And it's Munro in a comfortable 3rd. So
I think it's going to be that way to the flag. Zaustovic has got one final crack to get back into the top 6, but it's not going to happen. I think it's going to be a beautiful victory for Rob Bennett. Out of the final turn, Bennett wins it. Whitney 2nd. Terrific victory there for Rob Bennett. 3rd is Chris Munro. Robert Pertak comes home for 4th position in the end, in front of Alex Pritchard and Tomek Zastovic, Tarek Almu, Blaise Sienko, Vinod Irani, and in 10th place, it's the first of the Sturlers, Mark Sturler.
So
comes
a win
home
in
10th
itself there.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mark Sturler is going to be buying all the booze tonight, and it looks to me as though it's going to be James Sturler who puts the pans in the sink. Absolutely amazing stuff. Paul Manton is 11th from Gary Martin. Darren Hughes in 13th. Brooks is 14th place in front of Richard Sturler. Anthony Fletcher comes home for 16th position in the final reckoning. Andy Sturler will come home for 17th in front of James. And then it's David May and Ben Moody who will finish off the race. But an absolutely terrific victory there from Rob Bennett and Lee Whitney, who pull off their fastest laps in the final stages. In fact, Andy Sturler and James Sturler dropped to 19th and 20th at the final reckoning as they battle for the honour of the washing up, and it's James Sturler who pulls up the wooden spoon. He'll be pulling it out of the sink later. In the last race of the season with an incredibly gutsy display, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Rob Bennett!
Chris, that was a brilliant race from yourself. I mean, you were doing mid 110s and you were catching the whole of the lead pack there. Just at the end, I think maybe a little bit unfortunate not to get a shot at the victory, would you say?
Nah, not the victory. I don't think I was struggling a little bit. I felt I was struggling a bit with the grip because it got very cold out there, but I got taken off at turn 2 on the first lap. So I've sort of ruined whether that might have given me a better chance of maybe passing Lee. And now the season's over, I'll say it, if I'd have got close enough I'd have risked the black flag and just thrown it at him to see if I got away with it, but yeah, I mean, we finished 1 point apart and it's a little bit sore, but as other people have said, I'm a super heavy and I shouldn't be that close to top 3 anyway, so I'm really pleased. I've had a great day today. Pleased with the super heavy endurance championship as well, and yeah, might come back next year. Or
I think you should, because your lap time suggests you could be at the front challenging for the overall title next year.
Well, that's the other thing. You know, I'm 50 and I don't like dieting. It's boring, and I like pies and donuts, as you know, because I tell you on a regular basis. But
I'll join you if I have an.
I mean, you know, okay. If you look at the heats, I've finished 1 point off the top 3, being 10 kilos heavier than everybody else. So I think my skill set is more in the heats than it is in the enduro. So I don't know. Maybe if I could just lose half of that, would would guarantee me higher up. I don't know, but I have to speak to Mrs. Munro and Junior to see who can we afford to pay for racing, me or him. Tempting.
Whatever.
Ask me in a couple of weeks when I've had a few drinks.
We will do whatever happens. It's been great to have you back again. Well done on your performances this season. Lee, let's have you come up onto the podium. That was close at the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, be separated by 1 point in the championship with Chris. He's driven brilliantly all year, so yeah, he's made me work for it. So yeah, really happy. Gutted I didn't get the win. A couple of laps ago, Rob come past me up at 10. Good scrapping going on in the race, but yeah, no, it's been a good afternoon. Got to be happy really. Second, third overall in the championship. Yeah, been a good day.
It was a brilliant fight, wasn't it? You must have enjoyed that one.
It was definitely action-packed, yeah. It was lots going on. So it's to get a move on Tomek as well, you know, you've done quite well. Starting on pole, you want to win, but second, shouldn't be too unhappy with that, really. So, yeah.
We'll see you at the awards, I hope, in 2 weeks and back next season.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
Good stuff, good stuff. Good stuff, Lee. Well done for this season. And going out with a win is Rob Bennett. Rob, as Lee was talking about, come up onto the top step where you belong. Lee was talking about a move there that got you sort of victory. What do you recall from it?
Yeah, it was a bit, as he said, it was action-packed the first probably 4 laps. There was a couple of times where I was up on the grass and just got squeezed out. Tomek squeezed me out, I think, coming around turn 3, and then again coming around turn 4, I ended up on the grass and pretty much out of control, just no grip coming back onto the track. So there was a couple of times where there was a bit of contact, but nothing I could do about it. And then, yeah, I think I was in 4th maybe with 4 laps to go and managed to get past Tomek. As Lee said, it's always, you know, that's an achievement in itself, given that he's the championship winner, he's the most consistent person out there. And then Lee and I had a good scrap, managed to get past. And yeah, we toed and froed a few times, I think, in that section. But yeah, really pleased with the win.
And the standard has risen this year, hasn't it, in the heavies class massively. Have you enjoyed it?
I've enjoyed it, but it's quite frustrating. I came back thinking, oh, Chris Carter's retired, it's going to be a bit easier. But yeah, absolutely, the standard across the pack today, I think it was the biggest grid I've ever been involved in this morning in the standard. I thought it was, lapping people might be quite dangerous. It can be quite dangerous when you've got mixed abilities in such a big grid, but everybody was, really, really drove really well today. So yeah, good standard.
That's brilliant to hear. Well done on your victory. Perfect way to end your championship. Hopefully we'll see you back next season.
Yes, indeed.
Good stuff. Jake, that's good news. Rob Bennett back. I think all the big players saying they're coming back for next season. Hopefully people watching are going to be interested to come and have a go themselves after seeing what was a fantastic race.
Yeah, the title fight's going to be fantastic for next year. I've got a new target, which is to beat Chris Monroe's fastest lap time, 1:10.3. It's going to be quite tricky, but at least I'm in the same weight category as him. If you want to make sure you're on the starting grid to battle with these guys for the 2018 championship, head to the website daytonamax.co.uk, and if you don't sign up, I will. Oh no, I'm not allowed to, am I? No, I've got to keep talking about it. Fair enough. Well, you better get on the grid anyway, and we'll see you next season.